I don't remember a lot of what happened in the first M3GAN film. I remember it being a rather serious film. And I remember it being a tiny bit terrifying. Kids being manipulated by technology being, for lack of a better word, malevolent, unchecked technological advances. M3GAN showed us how technology could go on to do terrible things if we didn't stop this mad rush to build AI robots. In this film though, all the goodwill they'd built in the first film, all the themes and the soul they'd worked on in that film is thrown out of the window, and machines are back helping humans. Look, it's one thing to do this in Terminator, where you establish that robots aren't really thinking beyond their core parameters, they're just doing their jobs. In M3GAN, you actually see robots get a personality and human features, characteristics. Robots behave no different from humans, and that I think was my core problem with this new film. Also, this film is in no way a horror film. Alright, before we actually talk about the film and its many problems, let me just come out and say, I like this film. Setting aside the fact that this film completely ignores the moral implications of having an AI bot come and live in the real world, I had fun watching this film. It's a good film with great science fiction elements, wonderful actions, and maybe a little humor thrown in. I'm not someone who thinks too deeply about films. I watch a thing, and if it's exciting enough or interesting enough, I like the thing. Which is what happened with this film. I liked it, I enjoyed it. I completely ignored all the social implications of the film. However, the film has many problems. Continuing with the themes explored here, redemption and second chances. I've talked about this when I was talking about Companion, another horror film dealing with AI that was released earlier this year, and how I find it difficult to accept that there is no difference between AI and human intelligence. Robots behave exactly like humans in both the films, and I find it hard to get beyond that point and enjoy the film. Redemption and second chances are concepts applicable to human beings, not to your toaster. The fact that M3GAN gets a redemption arc in the film is hard to accept. She's killed people and pets in the previous film. How is she suddenly the hero of this film? My only way to accept this, move on, and enjoy the film was to imagine this was an entirely new AI. I mentioned earlier that this was not a horror film anymore. They've stripped all horror elements of this film and turned it into a science fiction action flick, which I suppose is not a bad idea. But I really liked the first M3GAN film because it was a horror film. I like action films, I like science fiction films, but really, you set up expectations in the first film. Changing genres halfway through, I'm not sure I liked it. I'm not sure I disliked it either. What they also ditched was the friendship M3GAN and Caddy, the little girl, had. In the first film, the connection the two shared was sort of central to the film. It's what gave rise to some rather tense and upsetting sequences in the film. In this film, the friendship is all but gone. It felt like Gemma, the aunt, and the robot were having more of a connection than the robot and Caddy. M3GAN and Gemma in fact share a moment in which M3GAN sings for Gemma. It's a weird scene really, and people found this funny apparently. I didn't. I found it odd and unwanted. The point is, I think they tried to recreate the dancing sequence, the unsettling dancing sequence that was in the first film, in which the doll dances and attacks people. That was a pretty horrifying scene, and they tried to recreate that scene here differently for laughs. The scene didn't work for me. The scene that did work for me was the scene at the beginning of the film. The one where M3GAN weaponizes the house. The ice cubes, the drawers, just everything in the house. M3GAN weaponizes these things and fends off military men. That was a fun sequence. Reminded me of Home Alone from all those years ago. It was nice seeing the AI fight off military men with everyday household items. Ivana Sakno, who plays the silent, intimidating warrior Shin Hati in Ashoka, which was a terrible show by the way, plays the silent, intimidating warrior Shin Hati here as well. She channels the same bad guy in this film, and I have to say, she didn't really need to do much else. The bad guy here is pretty much the same. Silent, deadly, a killer. The rest of the cast is pretty good too. Gemma is the lead, the little girl who's both intelligent and immature at the same time, Cole who's really funny, Tess, her friend who attempts to talk sense into Gemma. They're all good. Overall, even if this is not a horror film, even if it failed massively with its messaging, M3GAN manages to be a good film. It's light-hearted, it's action-oriented, it's fun. M3GAN 2.0 is a fun movie, and I enjoyed it, in spite of everything bad I said about it in this review. What did you think about the film? How did you like it? Did you dislike it? Let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.